Welcome, friends. Today we step back into history, into the pages of the Bible, where ordinary people met extraordinary challenges, and God gave them victory. As we dive into the story, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Long time ago, in the valley of Elah, two mighty armies faced each other across the hills, the Israelites on one side, and the Philistines on the other. Day after day, they stood in silence, neither side willing to make the first move. The valley between them became a place of fear, for in that open ground the battle would be decided. The hearts of Israel's soldiers grew heavy, for they were weary of waiting. Their spears trembled in their hands, not because of hunger or thirst, but because of the giant who came forth each morning and evening. His footsteps shook the earth, and his voice thundered like rolling storms. And so, every day began the same, the sound of armor clashing, the murmur of frightened men, and the shadow of a single warrior who dared them to come forth. The tension was heavy in the air, as fear gripped the camp of Israel, fear not of an army, but of one man, Goliath of Gath. For 40 days, 40 long days, this giant of Gath has come into this valley and mocked us. Morning and evening his voice thunders across these hills, daring us, ridiculing us, blaspheming the name of our God, and yet not a single man among us has stepped forward. I have seen warriors who once stood with courage now tremble like leaves in the wind. I have seen men who have slain lions and bears now lower their swords in shame. And I, Saul, king of Israel, can do nothing but watch as this Philistine shouts his insults and laughs at the armies of the living God. Every day he grows bolder, every day his challenge cuts deeper into our pride. For 40 days we have stood here in silence, and for 40 days, not one dares to face him.
He is too strong. Too tall. Look at the size of his armor, it shines like a wall of iron. His spear is like a weaver's beam, thicker than a man's arm, and the tip alone could pierce through any shield. His voice shakes the ground when he speaks, and even the bravest among us cannot bear to look him in the eye. Who among us could ever defeat him? Not one of us has the strength. Even if 10 men rushed upon him, he would scatter them like straw on the wind. He walks into this valley as if he owns it, laughing at us, daring us, crushing our courage with every step. We are soldiers, yes, but against this giant, we are nothing but grasshoppers before him. He was born for war, raised to kill, and no man in Israel can stand against him.
The soldiers of Israel trembled with overwhelming fear, for before their eyes stood a man unlike any they had ever seen, Goliath of Gath. He towered above them, more than 9 feet tall, a giant whose shadow fell like a mountain across the valley floor. His body was wrapped in bronze armor that gleamed under the sun, heavy enough to crush an ordinary man, yet he wore it as if it were nothing. Upon his shoulders rested a spear so massive that its shaft was like the trunk of a young tree, and the iron tip alone weighed more than some men could lift. Day after day, he came forth, his voice echoing like thunder between the hills. He mocked Israel's weakness, he ridiculed their courage, and he blasphemed the name of the living God. His words pierced deeper than any sword, striking fear into the hearts of Saul's army. And now, once more, the ground began to shake with his steps. The Philistine champion moved forward to issue his challenge again, daring any warrior of Israel to face him in the valley below. Keep following the story as we dive into the interesting part. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Why do you come out and line up for battle as if you are ready to fight? Look at you. You are nothing but servants of Saul. I am Goliath of Gath, the champion of the Philistines. Choose one man, just one among you, and let him come down to me. If he is strong enough to fight me and strike me down, then we will bow before you, and all the Philistines shall become your servants. But if I prevail against him, and they will prevail, then you shall serve us, and Israel will bow before Philistine power forever. Day after day I stand here, and still no man comes forward. Where is your courage? Where is your strength? Where is your God, the one you boast about? I see no champion among you, only trembling men hiding behind shields. Send me your greatest warrior, your mightiest soldier, even your king if he dares. Let him come. Or else admit before the sun and all nations watching, that Israel has no man, no strength, and no God to save them.
Can you listen to him? Challenging us again, who among us can face this 9 feet tall man? He is so determined to destroy all our camp into ashes. How do we escape this? We have no man that can face him obviously.
Who can face me? Let him come out now. I will make sure I crush all of your armies into pieces. Goliath mocked Israel and their God, day after day. Morning and evening, he came forth from the camp of the Philistines, his footsteps shaking the ground as he entered the valley. With every shout, his voice rolled like thunder, spreading fear across the hillsides of Elah. For 40 days his challenge went unanswered. 40 long days of insults, of shame, of taunts against the armies of Israel and against the God they served. The soldiers of Saul grew weaker in spirit with each sunrise, their courage drained as they listened to the giant's lecture echo through the land. He called them cowards. He ridiculed their king. He blasphemed the name of the Lord Almighty, declaring that no God could save them from his hand. And Israel, the chosen people, stood silent, unable to lift a sword or raise a shield against him. The valley became a stage of humiliation, as Goliath's pride grew bolder with every passing day. Yet what no one knew was that the God of heaven was preparing an answer, not through a mighty warrior, nor through a seasoned soldier, but through the most unlikely of all, a shepherd boy. While Saul and his army trembled before the Philistine giant, far from the battlefield lived a shepherd boy named David, the youngest son of Jesse of Bethlehem. Though small in stature, his heart was full of courage, and while others feared the giant, David was faithfully watching over his father's sheep. David, David, my son, come here a moment.
Yes, father, I am here from attending to the sheeps. What would you have me do for you?
Your 3 older brothers are with King Saul on the battlefield. They have been gone many days, and I have heard troubling news. The Philistines press hard against Israel, and this giant, this Goliath, continues to challenge our people. Take this food, bread and roasted grain, and carry it quickly to your brothers in the camp. And bring me back word of how they fare. I hope they are doing good.
Yes, father. I will go at once. I will see how my brothers are doing, and I will bring you word.
So David rose early the next morning, his heart light and his spirit eager to obey. As the first light of dawn touched the hills of Bethlehem, he carefully left his father's sheep with a trusted keeper, making sure none would be neglected in his absence. With bread, grain, and provisions for his brothers packed upon a donkey, he set out on the long road toward the valley of Elah. The journey before him seemed ordinary, just an errand of obedience, a simple task for a young shepherd boy. But in the unseen hand of God, every step was guiding David toward a destiny far greater than he could imagine. For though he walked humbly that morning, unaware of what awaited him, heaven had already chosen him to be the answer to Israel's fear, the voice of courage against a giant, and the vessel through which God's power would be revealed. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, David pressed on toward the battlefield, not knowing that this journey would forever change the story of a nation, and that his name would be remembered for generations to come. As David drew near the valley of Elah, the stillness of the morning gave way to the sounds of war. The clash of armor, the restless murmur of soldiers, and the distant cry of the Philistines filled the air. Across the hills, 2 armies faced each other yet again, Israel trembling in silence, and the Philistines thundering with confidence. And in the midst of it all, one voice rose above the noise, a voice Israel had come to dread. It was the roar of the giant, Goliath, stepping forward once more to mock and to challenge the people of God.
The journey to the battlefield is quite far. I hope I get there on time to deliver the food to my brothers.
Here I stand again. Day after day, I call, and still no man dares to face me. Are you not the armies of Israel? Are you not the servants of Saul? Where is your courage? Where is your God? Send me a man, any man. Or admit that you are nothing but cowards, unworthy of battle, unworthy of victory, and unworthy of the God you claim to serve. And so David came to the camp of Israel, carrying food for his brothers. What seemed to him a simple errand would soon become the turning point of a nation's history.
Peace be with you, friend. Tell me, how goes the battle?
There is no battle. Only shame. Listen, and you will hear why.
Is there no man in Israel? Am I to mock you forever? Send me a champion, if you have one.
Why are all the soldiers trembling, and some are lowering their weapons? Brother Eliab, what is this man saying? Who is he that he dares to defy the armies of the living God?
Be quiet, David. You should not even be here. You came only to watch the battle. You shouldn't be talking about war.
No, brother. I did not come here to watch, nor to stir trouble, but to serve, to bring food, to obey our father's command, and to see how you fare in battle. Yet how can I remain silent while this man mocks the armies of Israel and speaks against the living God? Is there no cause to rise up? Is there no man among us who will defend the honor of the Lord? This Philistine is but a mortal man, no matter how tall or how strong he may seem. He trusts in his sword, his spear, and his armor of bronze, but we are the people of the Almighty. Shall we let the name of our God be trampled upon while we stand in fear? I tell you, brother, I would rather face this giant with faith in God than hide in silence with the rest. For the Lord who delivered me from danger in the wilderness is the same Lord who will deliver Israel from the hand of this Philistine.
David's words rang through the camp like a spark in the midst of dry wood. While the soldiers trembled at the sound of Goliath, this shepherd boy spoke with boldness, unafraid to honor the name of the living God. Some mocked him, others doubted him, but whispers began to spread among the men, whispers of one who dared to believe where all others had lost hope. And soon, these whispers reached the ears of King Saul himself, who sent for the young man whose courage defied the fear of a nation. And so David was brought before King Saul, the shepherd boy standing in the presence of the king of Israel. While all others saw only a boy, heaven saw the heart of a warrior. I can hear a young man speaking with courage outside this camp. Bring this young man to me at once. I must see the one who speaks with such courage.
Okay, I will do that immediately.
Here I am, sir. You called for me.
Yes, you are but a youth, and yet I hear you have spoken boldly. Do you not see the man who defies us? He has been a warrior from his youth, trained for battle, seasoned in strength. And you are only a shepherd. How can you hope to fight against him?
My lord, do not let your heart be troubled because of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him. When I kept my father's sheep, lions and bears came and seized the flock. I went after them, struck them down, and rescued the lamb from their mouths. When they rose against me, I caught them by the beard and struck them dead. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, for he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine.
Okay, since you are determined. Go then, and may the Lord be with you. But you need to put on an armor. Bring my armor. If this boy insists on facing the giant, he must go prepared.
Okay, my lord.
2 soldiers bring Saul's bronze helmet and heavy coat of armor. They begin fastening it onto David. The armor is oversized, clunky, and weighs him down. The king's armor, though strong and splendid, was made for a warrior, not a shepherd. On David's small frame, it was heavy and awkward.
My lord, I do not need sword, spear, or armor to stand against this Philistine. These are all too heavy for me. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the bear, he will deliver me from this giant as well.
Young man, you can't go to a battlefield without putting on an armor.
I can do that, and I will go without putting on an armor. My lord, I am ready to go and challenge that warrior.
Okay, may the Lord be with you. And so, David chose what seemed weak in the eyes of men, a simple sling, and 5 smooth stones from the brook. Yet in the hands of one who trusted God, these became stronger than the sharpest sword. Without armor, without sword, David walked forward, a shepherd boy facing a warrior. Every step echoed louder than the shouts of an army, for all of Israel watched in silence. And across the valley, the Philistines laughed, pointing and jeering at the sight of a boy with a staff and a sling.
Is this truly our champion? A boy with stones against a giant? Can he defeat a 9 feet tall man that none of us could?
Look, they send us a child with a stick, as if this were a game. Do I look like a joke to you? Am I a dog, that you come at me with sticks? Come closer, boy, and I will feed your flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field. Yet David's gaze did not falter, for while the armies saw a boy against a giant, David saw something greater, the name of the living God, whom no enemy could defy.
You come against me with sword, with spear, and with javelin, weapons forged by men. But I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, the one whom you have mocked. Today the Lord will deliver you into my hand. I will strike you down and cut off your head. And this very day, I will give the carcasses of the Philistine army to the birds of the air and the beasts of the earth, so that the whole world may know that there is a God in Israel. And all who are gathered here will see that it is not by sword or by spear that the Lord saves. For the battle belongs to the Lord, and he will give you into our hands.
David's voice echoes through the valley. The Philistines' laughter falters, replaced by murmurs of unease. The Israelites, who once trembled, feel the spark of courage ignite in their hearts. In that moment, the shepherd boy stood taller than the giant, not by his strength, but by the unshakable faith that God's power was greater than any enemy. I will defeat you and your warriors. Come closer, boy. Let me crush you beneath my feet. Then, as the giant advanced, David did not shrink back. Instead, he ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him, a shepherd racing to face a warrior. David's feet pounding the ground. His hand dips into the pouch, pulling out one smooth stone. From the brook, he had chosen 5 stones. But he needed only one. David swings the sling over his head. The whirring sound grows louder, faster. He releases, the stone flies like lightning. And the hand of the Lord guided the stone. The stone strikes Goliath's forehead with a sharp crack. His eyes widen. The giant staggers, then falls forward with a thunderous crash that shakes the earth. The Philistines gasp in shock. The Israelites erupt with shouts of triumph. Thus, with a sling and a stone, without sword or spear, David triumphed over the Philistine. For the battle belonged not to the mighty, but to the Lord. And so, the giant fell. Not because David was stronger, or taller, or better armed, but because he trusted in the power of the living God. The story of David and Goliath reminds us that no matter how impossible the challenge may seem, with faith and courage, even the greatest giants in our lives can be defeated. When fear says you can't, let faith rise up and say, the battle belongs to the Lord. If this story inspired you today, don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more life-changing Bible stories. Your support helps us bring more of God's Word to the world.